if you want to build a side hustle or a business on the side, but you already have kids and a family, I think that's very difficult. And there are a lot of people outside struggling with this. I don't think these people are very visible, but I think that many people go through the same struggles. There are a couple of things. I have a couple of ideas about this, and there's one specific tweet which got my attention yesterday, which I'm going to show you. So that's the tweet I've seen yesterday, and I think it's so accurate because there's so many advice outside from people who have no idea how it is to have kids and how life is when you have kids, that it's so easy to compare yourself with them and feel really bad about yourself and feel like you can never do it. The mountain is just too big. I cannot climb it. And I think that's not true. I think you can always do it. And maybe there are some things you have to do differently when you have kids. And I have some ideas about this, which I'm going to show you. So I think for me, it comes down to basically these three things. It's like accepting inconsistencies, trade-offs, and that I just try to simplify as much as I can. Accepting inconsistencies. I think for me, when life gets in the way, that's okay. That's how it is. When my kids are sick, yeah, the kids are sick. They go first. That's how it is. And it's nothing to beat you down. That's just how it is. And everybody has to live with it. But that doesn't mean that the work you put in doesn't compound. It doesn't mean that just because you stop for a while doesn't mean that everything you did before just is negated. When you want to build a YouTube channel and you put out videos every day or every week and you miss a couple of weeks, it doesn't mean that your channel is dead. Yeah, everybody tells you consistency is super important, but I think it's more harmful to you in the long term when you beat yourself down and when you really try to hustle through everything than just accept that life gets in the way. And I think that restart is part of the journey. That's normal. You stop, you restart, you stop, you restart. That's, I think life with kids is just more broken up into smaller pieces, and everybody does it like that. And people are successful with kids. Maybe the iterations that people with kids move are a little bit slower, and they cannot move that fast. We cannot go to Bali and hack away for 24/7. But that doesn't mean that what you do does not compound. But still, I don't think that this is happening. A successful business on the side with kids and a job is not built without trade-offs. That would be delusional, and I think that's just not how it is. So I think time comes from trade-offs. You have to remove time sinks. You have to remove things like watching Netflix. Like I'm usually programming between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. That's like between I put my son to bed and I have to go to bed because I know he's gonna wake up 8 hours later and I'm gonna be super tired. So that's like a short window I have to take. And this window I'm gonna take every night. So when my wife is watching Netflix, I'm sitting there coding, or I'm sitting here coding, but I'm definitely not watching Netflix because that's just not, that wouldn't bring me forward. So I just don't do it. And then I think you can look for unfair advantages that you have. For me personally, my unfair advantages are parental leave. I live in Germany. We do have pretty generous parental leave. That parental leave doesn't mean you have to do nothing. Parental leave means you have to take care of the baby, and that's pretty exhausting, but it still mentally frees you up. When you have a day job, you have to go every day there's so much mental load and all the stuff you have to remember for work and all the features you're working on at work. And there's so much going on in your head that I think there's not not much space for creativity and new ideas. And I feel when I'm taking more care of the kids, I think there's just space in my head to come up with creative ideas and be productive on the side. Often when I have stressful days at work, I really don't want to sit on the couch and program in the evenings. But when I do more manual work, let's say, then I think that's easier. And I bet there are unfair advantages you can look for, which make it viable to build something on the side. But still, I think that you have to take care of things like burnout or an unhealthy life. So for me, for example, I'm building on and off, but for the last 4 to 5 months, I'm building pretty consistency on one idea. I'm applying to a founder scholarship with this, so I can maybe leave my day job and get a scholarship to provide for the family, but still keep on working on my stuff. And I stopped seeing people. I stopped doing sports. I ran a half marathon last year and I was very excited. And I did triathlon before, maybe not super professionally, but I really enjoyed endurance sports. And since I am building so much, I just cannot do this. And I feel in myself, inside of me, that this is how I'm going to do it right now. That's just a trade-off I'm going to take. But I also feel that it's very taxing on me. And at one point, I have to go back to a more normal life where I can do sports and stuff like this. See friends, for example. Go out for a beer. Just I don't do nothing of that. And when I hopefully will get this founder scholarship, and then one of the highest points on this bullet point is on this list is to do sports regularly again. Go running every other morning or something like this. But I think that's something you have to balance for yourself. And I think the question is, how much do you want it? You know, do you want it that much to take all these trade-offs, or you don't want to do it that much? And I think that's also fine when you say, like, with a family, the trade-offs are just too high. I cannot do that. I cannot not see my friends because I need this socializing, and so thus I cannot build stuff. Yeah, that's fine. And that's a decision to make, and that's totally fine. But I think it doesn't work out without trade-offs. Yeah, that's just how it is. And then I think the third point is simplifying everything you can. Build with what you know. Use the same tech you use at work. Even if it's boring, it's always tempting to try out new things. And I eventually do that also. It's like I'm a techie. I love building stuff and I love trying out new things. But you always have to remember, is this tech porn for me? I want to satisfy my techie thing with? Or is this really, am I an entrepreneur? Do I want to build something and the user does not care what the tech stack is? And I think always reminding yourself that the user doesn't care and that you want to build a successful business and you should take the shortest path to that is very important. I mean, sometimes it can happen that you just say like, yeah, but I want to enjoy building a little bit. So I want to try this new library or whatever. But you always have to keep in mind, it's holding you down. Your time is very limited and you might waste time with it. Yeah. But when that's fine for you, that's fine. But if you want to get to your goal as fast as possible, maybe you should stick to the boring tech. And then I wrote down AI for drafting. I think AI obviously can be used in many, many points for building, obviously. I use it, which helps me a lot for drafting my social media, Twitter stuff. I have a drafting pipeline. I just yap in my idea, have some content markdown files, and then I get out a couple of drafts. I just have to move around. And for me, this difficult stuff of formulating something out is taken from me. So when I'm at the playground, I see something funny or I think of something, but I don't have the time to formulate this out and really think about, okay, what makes sense now? Do I formulate it like this, or is it a joke, or how do I do it? I just yap it in my phone, and then OpenClaw is creating some drafts for me, putting them into Typefully, and I can just pick whatever I like from that. And I think using it for this is really, really helpful, because this productive part of really sitting down and formulating, that's very, very difficult. And often I don't have the mental capacity to do that. So if I wouldn't have a workflow for this, the idea would just be gone. It would be, and then 2 hours later, I forgot it. And so I can just look into my Typefully every couple of days, see all the drafts, and then just schedule whatever I want. And then I think the third point, don't get distracted. It's so easy to get distracted. I made this tweet here yesterday, I think, which is so true. Actually, the top is cut, which is saying starting a side project from the side project, and I think that's what everybody does. And it's very easy to get have a new idea and do the new idea, and then I do that, and then I do that, and never finish something. But I think you only make it from stuff you finish, and you really have to choose what you're picking, what are you building, and then you have to put your money down, and then you have to go with it. And I think it's all right to test out some things here and some things there, and then you realize, okay, there is not a market for that, or nobody would buy it, or it's impossible to build, or I don't know, many things. So I don't say that you shouldn't try out stuff. What I say is that if you have a main project and it's getting difficult because maybe you should talk to customers and you really don't like to talk to customers, then you still have to do it. And it's very easy to just start another side project and get distracted by that. And I'm definitely struggling with that. And I think that's the builder syndrome. But yeah, that's how it is. So yeah, that were my ideas. I hope there was something for you in it, and the struggle is real. See you in the next one.